Hello, pup. Oh, she's got rice cakes. A Nubian rice cake. There's actually something called Snack and Jacks. They're basically just made out of like corn chips, I believe, with rice mixed in. So they're basically crisps that are made out of rice. They're actually pretty damn nice. The barbecue ones are absolutely lovely. So yeah, by the way, we're back here in Inazuma. We're doing Yoimiya's mission now. I really love Yoimiya. She's such a little ball of sunshine. I am, at least. I give the warmest hugs. A mob. No, she said top, not mob. Yeah, I always tend to forget that Thomas from Mondstadt. Hello! Oh damn, you ran real fast straight at us. Nice to see that you're still happy. Sorry, I'm just paying attention to my dog. Good. Now that the vision ban has been lifted, people can get out of here and explore the world more. It's nice. That's what I do like about where I'm living at the moment. We get an awful lot of tourists from different places, really. It's just nice to see different people around. To be fair, you have done some heroic stuff. Literally thwarted an entire, like, vision lockdown, basically, you know? You're basically the modern day Guy Fawkes. Literally Guy Fawkes. I'm not a fish. Got a hiccup. Don't laugh at me, it works, okay? No clue? What do you mean, no clue? Surprising how common certain meteor showers are around the world. Sometimes they only last a good second or so. Naganohara's. Naganohara's. Try saying that 5 times fast. Naganohara's, 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 Naganohara's. No, it's not possible.
うちが流星雨を見れたら全然ちゃう花火を思いつけると思うんや。
Meteors and fireworks, kind of a nice mixture that.
まあ外に出て見て回りたいいうんがいっちゃ大きい理由やねんけどな。いいと思うぜ。チャンスも時間も揃ってるなら思いっきり楽しむべきだもんな。よう分かってるやんパイモンちゃん。知り合った時よりごっつお利口さんになったんちゃう？お前みたいなやつは大好きだぞ。嬉しいことを言ってくれるぜ。
Well, since you're going out to play regardless, might as well go and enjoy ourselves in Sumeru for a bit.
スメールか。聞いたことあるで。木がぎょうさんあってすごい学院もあって、それから大きい砂漠もあんねんやろ。そうだぞ。あいつらはすごいんだ。流星雨のことを聞いたらきっと答えてくれると思うぜ。ほんまに？
Oh crap, it's 8 o'clock.
せやけど研究
I'll
者
need
に
to
言い
take
伝える
a
話なんか聞いた
tablet
ら
in a minute.
嫌がられへんかな。
I'm currently on medication because of a bit of a huge paronychia I've had for the past month. If you don't know, it's like a bit of infection that gets caught in the finger edge. You know, sometimes it comes from a hangnail that comes off. Really aggravating. I've had this thing for a month now. Finally got the medication for it. Hopefully it will work. If not, then I'll have to go to a dermatologist to hopefully have him lance the thing and get whatever is in there out. Because there's a possibility sometimes when hangnails come off, they can just stay in the skin. It's not good. Overall, just not a good feeling. I'm actually quite surprised I was able to pass my lifeguard course as with like this paronychia really, because as I was doing CPR training, I could notice that every time I put pressure down on it as I was doing the chest compressions, I actually had to switch hands because the right hand was just really fucking with me. It's my middle finger, so it really hurt, so I had to use my other hand. It was nice. It was a nice break when I ended up doing like the oh, this is a nice picture actually. I might use this for the thumbnail. That was a really nice picture. There we go. Done. Cool. Yeah, where was I? So yeah, with like when you're training on like infant mannequins and child mannequins, it's very different to the adults. So with like infants, you normally rest them on your knee and then you use 2 fingers on the sternum, very like precise but gently, you know. And with kids run about under 18, sometimes 15, depending on the size of the child, you normally just use one hand, because that much pressure with both hands on one area, you're gonna crack a rib or two. Like, of course, sometimes it's possible that you could possibly crack a rib, because it is needed to get under the rib cage to get to the heart, basically. It's more better to kind of aim slightly lower under the sternum so you can really get to the heart without risking cracking the ribs, basically. But in some cases, that's just not the case, really. Really, the whole CPR thing is just to buy time for the AED, basically, which is the defibrillator, which comes in and restarts the heart, basically. That's the most important thing, is to keep the heart pumping until you can buy time for the defibrillator to come into play, basically. Normally you would have it on site, no matter where you are, very close by. But yeah, it's just in case if you don't have one, or like it takes time for the paramedics to come to you, basically. It's just all you're doing is buying time. Everything else though seems very good to do though, you know. We did the practical tests, like, you know, saving in the water, board stuff, what to deal with like paralysis victims, basically. I say victims, they're gonna die. Paralysis civilians, basically. And then we did a theory. I was actually more worried about the theory, really, because I'm not good with questionnaires and all that, but I did okay. I only got 2 wrong out of 24 for each section, so that wasn't that bad, you know. I did pretty damn good. And then we did first aid. First aid was pretty fun, actually. I enjoyed that. I'm normally quite a social person, so first aid kind of comes kind of naturally when you know when you're working with people who are uncertain of certain things that happen to them. If they're injured or if they feel worried, you know, it's best to be like that driving force, to be like, you know, that reassuring person that they can like rely upon and look upon, basically, you know. It's all interesting though. It's definitely worth learning, you know, because the amount of people that don't know CPR is quite staggering. And I spoke about this before as well, knowing that people that know CPR could literally save as many people as, say, a heart attack would take. So what is the statistics about it? People that suffer cancer that die from it are roughly the same statistics of people that die from food choking or heart arrhythmias that could then lead to heart attacks, something like that. So knowing CPR is really always in your best intent, basically. And although AEDs can be a bit expensive, they're always worth investing in. Like, I think the best ones that you can go for, I think, are roughly about $1,000, maybe $1,500, something like that. But they're all easily accessible. You can buy them, you can use them, and really, it's just best to have them, especially if you've got like a small business. You know, you're all set up basically to, you know, help teach your staff to allow them to know how to use it, so on and so forth. So that way everyone can feel safe knowing that they've got, you know, good professionals around them that know how to handle a life or death situation like that, basically. Yeah, you can let me cover the cost, it's no problem. Yeah, I'll go with this one. The funny looking one. Is it because of the blonde hat? Blondish looking hat. I fucking love you. Puppy, puppy, puppy. She is so fucking adorable. Puppy, puppy, puppy. Would you please package these up? It's a shame that we can't actually let her meet the Aranara, because I think she would really, really like them. And I think the Aranara would really, really like her, since she's such a positive person. I mean, they equate intelligence with ranking there, basically, so it's not a surprise. I think the robe kind of insinuates that. Hmm.
確かに人の目を気にしすぎる必要はないねんけど、それは時と場所を選んでからのことやと思う。とりあえずはこの近くを見て回るわ。あんたらの言うてた
Oh, you'll love Nilo. You'll absolutely fall in love with Nilo. She's such a sweetheart.
わかったぞ。まあそこまで考えなくてもいいとは思うけどな。服を仕立てるんだったらニーローがいいところを教えてくれるかもな。
Indeed.
ええやんええやん。ついでに公園も見れたらええな。
We could probably incorporate some of your fireworks into our dance. That'd be quite nice,
ごめ
wouldn't
んや
it?
けど流星雨のこと聞き回ってきてくれへん？おう、行ってくるぜ。メイロン派の人を探すとは言ってみたけど、よくよく考えたら適任者がいなさそうだな。
Hmm. Could Layla possibly be
アルハイ
here?
ゼンなら知ってるような気がするけど。
If you don't know Layla, she's actually quite an interesting character. She's got kind of a split personality when she sleeps. It's very interesting. One's quite aloof, very shy-ish, somewhat. The second one is a little bit more confident, more sure in herself.
迷ってるみたいね。
Oh, Kusanori! Hey!
に持てるすべての知恵を授けてくれる。
Oh my days, it's been so long since we've seen you. How are you, sweetheart? All good?
ロヒーロ、どうしてここに？
Thanks for the scare. She wanted to scare us. She could have just penetrated our minds.
あなたたちが入ってきて困ったような顔をしているのをたまたま見つけたから来てみたの。
Instead of just popping out of nowhere and just talking with us, she decided to follow us. Fair enough. I mean, the idea that she could just penetrate anyone's mind at will is kind of frightening if you think about it.
なるほど。
Naruhodo.
その顔、次の流星雨はまだまだ先ってことか？そうね。
So,
それよりも
so more than likely we're not going to see the meteor shower. Oh,
あなた
shame.
たちも
Maybe we could set off some fireworks in her honor being here, you know?
テイワットの空に浮かぶ星は人の運命とつながっていると。確かに。
How so? I mean, we know their dreams are kind of connected in a way, but their hopes?
だとしたら考えてみて。運命がそっくりそのまま予測された結果に従うはずあると思う？ねえ、確かに。
We're kind of going into the realms of philosophy here, though, aren't we?
今のメイロン派の研究によると、流星雨は多くの人間の運命が複雑に絡み合って起こる天文現象なの。現れるタイミングはかなりランダムで、予測しようとする試みは
So what you're saying, meteors hit stars, stars then fall out of the sky and land here and then become playable characters in Genshin Impact, is that what you're saying? Because if you think about it, that's how the wish system technically works. Fates fall out of the sky and then that's what becomes Genshin Impact characters, you know?
そういうことなの。
That would have been quite funny if she would have just openly, like, admitted to it in a specific way, as to say, like, you know, oh, like, somebody's fate could be revealed in the near future, someone that we may not know, you know, like, that's her unique way of letting us know of, like, new characters, like, being dropped, technically from Fates, you know, but, you know, just the way I look at things. Hmm. Yeah, that's true. She's just a wholesome character, you know, just so nice to see someone just utterly wholesome and not have anything wrong with them. You know, that's the one thing I hate about Disney characters, is that, you know, their parents have always got to be dead, or, like, if it's focused on two parents, like, their kids have got to be dead, you know, it's like, what the fuck? Why does everything have to be tragic, you know? Even Peter Pan, when you look at Peter Pan, the whole story of that, the idea that Peter Pan basically, you know, offed kids to stop them from growing up is in a way, a weird type of psychopathic fantasy that goes through it, basically. And the idea that the pirates are basically the grown-up Lost Boys that fight back against Peter. And, you know, Hook is basically one of the first Lost Boys, and he was made, you know, a fool out of from Peter by obviously, you know, feeding his hands to the crocodile, basically. Now, that would have been a more interesting story if they made that into film and actually followed it to a T, like a more modernized version, but much, much darker, you know. Because it is kind of eluded in the books. It's not like out in the open. It's just something that you kind of have to theorize and also bring it into reality. Because if you ask me, that's really interesting, especially the idea of Tinkerbell basically being the sole reason why Peter cannot grow up. Because she made a pact with him, and hence why she's so jealous of Wendy, because Wendy is basically the key to freeing Peter from Neverland and the everlasting cycle of, like, the distrust and murder that goes on there, you know. That would have been very interesting if they kind of went down that road. I love when they turn things dark in specific ways. Yeah, no. Kind of like how Inception was very, very good. How, you know, obviously I'm not going to spoil it for you because not many people know it, basically. But yeah, the twist is very, very good. Basically, I love when they do like interesting stuff like that with their works. Thanks, Kusanali. It's been nice talking with you again. You're always a big help.
彼女のところに戻る前にこの流星雨の物語をどう展開していくか考えておいた方がいいわよ。そうでないとすぐバレちゃうもの。
Might appear aloof, but she's actually very, very intelligent. She probably knows already what we were doing. I mean, does she know that we know about Kusanali? Because if that's the case, she probably already knows where we were. Sorry, my dog breathed and I just huffed. It kind of just shows how me and my dog know each other very well. Like we're connected in a way. I mean, there's not much to look at, it's just forest. But nature can be intriguing, especially when you're out in the thick of it. You know what we could do? We could always actually show them the Aranara. I honestly think the Aranara wouldn't mind meeting Yoimiya. What was it that they said about the Aranara? The fact that only children can see them because they have more room for imagination and dreams. Like, what is it? Children can dream, like before the whole Samsara thing, and adults couldn't because they kind of like lost that spark in their adulthood, basically. It's kind of sad, because that's kind of partly what Momo was about, basically, about a little, a homeless girl that basically, you know, uses her imagination, and, like, there are these idea of these suited men that basically try to apprehend her, and, they're kind of like the thieves of imagination, you know, it's hard to explain, basically. I go over it more in a book review if you want to go look at that. It's in one of my playlists, so please go ahead and look at it, because Momo is definitely a very good read. It's fantastic. Of course she's trying to cheer up, little girl, bless her. Why is she sitting down? Oh, that explains it. I'm sorry. I was wondering why she was just sitting down and she was like talking behind her, and it turns out she's in a wheelchair. I'm so sorry, fuck. You know, it's like that funny ass, I don't know where it's from, but there's this video of this dude behind a desk, and someone is asking him about like deadlines or something, or asking him like the directions of the disabled toilets and all that. And then he says, "Oh yeah, I frequent there quite an awful lot." And he said, "Why? You got like a missing leg or something?" And then he just hops down from his seat, and it's Peter Dinklage. I think it was an advert or something. And then he's like, "Ah, I see." Like, it's funny because when you look at them from the top half, an awful lot of dwarfs look very normal, basically. Well, I don't mean like normal, you know what I mean. Like, it's kind of hard to tell when they're sitting, but then once they stand, it's like, ah, I gotcha. Okay, yeah. You know, it's like I am guilty of doing that. I think it was a classmate of mine in college. I had no idea he was a dwarf until I saw him like come down the ladder. I just saw his legs hanging out of a ceiling, like in the attic. He was getting something, and I asked, "Do you need some help?" And he said, "Oh, thank you. That'd be very helpful." And then he passed something down to me, and I realised his arms were a little bit short, and I thought, ah, okay, yeah. So then I asked even more, "Do you need like extra assistance?" And he's like, No. I just need you like to take the item." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool." Like, it was just a funny incident. I spoke with him about it afterwards. Like, I had no idea you were a dwarf. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I've got some thick legs, you know. I've got some muscular legs, you know. I run and all that." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, damn, yeah." I can imagine, you know. Oh, yeah, he was a good guy. I loved him. He was a fantastic chap. He was a funny chap, you know. He always was good on self-deprecation. You know, that was his way of being comedic and all that. Excuse me. Did she tell you what was on her mind?
喋りたないみたいやったさかい。それ以上聞かへんことにした。聞いてもまた嫌なこと思い出させてしまうだけやろ?
I understand that, but sometimes there's good memories in the bad ones, you know, because you do need to think of those good memories to help get you out of the bad ones. So there's a way of looking more positively on some sad memories.
人混みを通り過ぎるたんびに辺りを見回すんや。ぶつかるんが怖いんやろかって最初は思っててんけど、あの子の目には憧れとほんのちょっとだけ悲しさが滲んどった。そんな不幸に遭遇したら落ち込むのも無理ないよな。最初はうちと一言も喋りたないみたいやったわ。出てくる言葉も
I mean, to be fair, she's just met you, so it would seem a little bit much for a kid when an adult like comes up to them and enthusiastically tries to, you know, I don't want to say impose, but that's what it does feel like to some kids. You know, it's like, you know, I'm doing something, blah blah blah. Why are you here? Why are you like trying to cheer me up and all that shit? You know, kids are confusing. Sometimes they are fantastic. Perceptive of adults and their intentions, but sometimes it's kind of like, you know, "I'm busy, leave me alone, blah blah blah," you know, especially in a wheelchair. She probably doesn't feel like meeting someone so pippa and happy, you know. Like, I don't want to be that guy to say, like, you know, she brings people down because she's happy, you know. You should always be happy, and you shouldn't feel bad about being happy. But, you know, for some people, especially when they're in a wheelchair, it's kind of like, well, shit, you can run and you're happy. Well, where does that leave me, you know? Like, I don't mean to be that guy, but sometimes it's like that, you know. Well, not necessarily. Well, the meteor showers appear mostly in people's wishes, usually. Yeah, wait till you hear about this one. We're not actually in a real planet. We're actually in a simulation. Would you believe that bullshit? But I'm not going to tell her that because that'll probably break her mind. Like how we're meant to contend with the idea that time travel is only achievable through certain dimensions, due to the fact that we can't see dimensions, like say the fourth dimension. It's kind of like, how do I explain this? So, two dimension is basically looking at a paper straight on, like you can see it, but then you put it sideways, and hence you can't see it. That's second dimension, basically. So fourth dimension can be something along the lines of, like, say, a space and time that we're not aware of, basically. Kind of like how humans can only see certain colours to a degree. Like, say, take the mantis shrimp for one. That thing can, like, literally see in, like, well over 280 something odd colours, basically. Something that we can't see. So certain grey or brown patterns that we look at is a way of, or maybe more pale colours are a way of indicating whether or not if there's more colours there to a certain degree. I would actually love to see a type of technology that we can implement from, like, the eyesight of certain creatures that allow us to see different colours. It'd be really, really interesting. Oh yeah, we've been through that a couple of times, yeah. It did when we controlled it. Paimon lied as naturally as she breathed. Kind of like a rolling stone covers no moss.